Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
This webinar will begin shortly. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us today's webinar. Today we are joined by EuroSTAR Conference's Programme Chair, Rikard Edgren. He will explain the conference programme today in a very special webinar for us. We also have 2 upcoming webinars available on our Huddle site to register for now. One is an automation webinar and the other one is called Becoming a Coding Tester. So those 2 webinars can be registered for over on our Huddle site. If you would like to ask Rikard a question, please do so at any time during this webinar in the chat box, in the questions box, on the right-hand side of your screen, and I will go through the questions at the very end of this webinar with Rikard. So without further ado, I'll make Rikard presenter here. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Rikard Edgren. They say it's me on the picture. Not so sure about that, but maybe I'll meet you in The Hague and you can see for yourself. I'm a tester since the last century and I work in Sweden with testing in the healthcare sector. And this will be my 12th EuroSTAR and I really look forward to it. In this webinar, I will briefly go through the conference program and afterwards, I hope you will ask me some interesting questions. I will start with the keynotes. We have a great program and we have really nice international keynote stars. First out is Alan Richardson, who will assume that we know nothing about testing. And how far can we get by questioning and exploration? How far can we go with our normal language? Alan is one of my favorites, and he's one of you who knows a lot about the technical side of testing and also a lot about the thinking side of testing. We have Robert Sabourin, who will talk about what we can do when we know very little. And isn't it always the case that we know a little too little about the software testing, and that the testing is maybe the best way to learn more about it. Rob is based in Canada, and if you have the chance, you should read his little book, I Am a Bug. It looks like a book for children, but it isn't. Sally Freudenberg will talk about diversity and how it helps us a lot. This is a topic dear to my heart, and I think all the bigger leaps in testing I have seen have come from totally new perspectives that we get from diversity. On Thursday, we will start with James Christie, who will go deep into what we don't know and the risks associated with that. And also about being able to say, I don't know, because that often is reality. This track was actually originally submitted as a normal track session, but the abstract was so good that it just had to become a keynote. As the final keynote, Karen Johnson will help you think about what your true purpose is with your career. That's a big question. Perhaps in need of Karen as a catalyst in order to start to answer for yourself. I'm very pleased that all of these want to come, and I hope you are too. The theme for this year's conference is Je ne sais pas. I don't really know a lot of French, but I know this, and it means I don't know. And not knowing things is the foundation for software testing. If we already knew all we need to know, then we wouldn't need testing and curious testers. And I don't know should be followed by but I want to find out. And that's the basis for conferences and any other learning activity. I don't know is also a sign of humility that I have seen in many great testers. We very rarely have the final answers or the right to decide, but we have important information regarding quality that we can share. I also choose this theme because I can't really decide what the real actual theme will be in Hague in November, because the real theme at the conference is created by you, all the people that come there, that talk about different things and discuss things and share their experiences and their challenges and get new ideas. And it's in the conversation between people that the true conference and the true theme emerges. And I really look forward to that. Monday is dedicated to full day tutorials, a whole day where you are guided by an expert that will help you learn a lot in a certain area. Alan Richardson will help you learn more about technical testing, so you can assess your situation and use the right tools and the right automation. And for this one, you will need a device for the hands-on parts. If a mobile is fine. Fiona Charles will cover the ethical aspects, the tough questions which sometimes are so close to so we don't really see them. And this is a new topic that we haven't seen before at the tutorial, and I really look forward to this one. Fiona is a master at workshops where facilitated exercises bring great discussions between the attendants. Robert Saborin will share his testing fundamentals, as he has broken it down in 5 areas: philosophy, scientific method, problem solving, math, and rhetoric. I was at his full day tutorial, a different topic at EuroSTAR 2010, and it was great. Before that tutorial, I toyed with the idea that maybe I myself could have a tutorial one day. But after attending that, I realized, no, he is too good and I don't have that ability. Some years later, I changed my mind and did one as well, but such is life. Saretta Gamba will help you do automation better. She has been involved in years in the Test Automation Patterns Wiki, which is a collection of heuristics that help you choose the right way to do test automation. So this will be a good tutorial for many of you that struggle with automation because it's difficult. Michael Bolton comes every year to EuroSTAR, and there's a reason for that. He's one of the big thinkers, but in a tutorial, he also makes you think. And this topic is especially interesting because even though the STAR in EuroSTAR stands for Software Testing, Analysis and Review, there aren't that much talk about the analysis we do, but it is still very important. So I'm very happy we can have a tutorial about that. Isabel Evans received the Testing Excellence Award last year, and this tutorial is for those of you who are in a transformation process or will enter a transformation process. So I guess it's applicable to most of you. Tutorials are a great way to start a conference, so if you have a chance, go to the one of these that you find most interesting. And we also have half-day tutorials. That's on the Tuesday. And we have Andrew Brown, who will help you uncover your own biases. We all have biases, but if we know about them, we can manage them. Andrew uses experiences from Agile retrospectives as a topic, and that's a key part in getting Agile to really work. Iris and Gret will share important experiences about test management, and there will be interactive exercises so you can learn more. Fran O'Hara's tutorial goes through testing of user stories in Agile environments, and there is much more to this than just testing what was written down. Mai's tutorial might sound very technical about front-end web performance, but don't be scared by that. Also, less technical testers can use browser tools to quickly get information about the performance of the web application. Rick Marcellus will guide you in the hot topic of artificial intelligence and robotics. And he has also promised hands-on testing for this, which we look forward to. Dorothy and Chris will go through more of the strategic side of automation efforts. It is not just to start with it and get going, because there are many aspects you need to consider in order to get something done that really makes sense in your organization. A half-day tutorial is 4 hours, and I promise you will learn a lot. For the program selection, I have had a great program committee, and I still have a great program committee. It's Anna, Helena, Joris, and Zoltan. And we met in Galway earlier this year to choose among all the great submissions we received. Reviewing all these submissions is really hard work, but it's also very interesting. You get like a snapshot of what is going on in the testing world at the moment. Apart from us, we also have reviewers from testing professionals all around the world. So each submission is read by at least 6 persons. And since there are so many submissions, a lot of really good ones won't make the program. That's just the way it is. And we also have some rules about not too many from the same company or not too many from the same country, etc. But we're very happy with what we received, and the lineup is very strong. If you plan to submit for next year maybe, my best tip is that you make sure that your content can be seen in the submission. If it is too vague and generalized, it is very difficult to review if it actually is good or not. This is an image of the Wednesday program, and as you can see, you have a lot of different tracks to choose from. And I actually hope that some of you will be disappointed that you will have a conflict and I have problems choosing between this and that one, because that's a sign of a really good program, that you have to deselect stuff that you really wanted to see. And I won't go into details for all these talks because we can't talk about all of them and all of them have value. So you should look at the program and see what's interesting for you, and make sure to visit some unfamiliar territory, because you might learn the most at a totally unexpected place. That's a memory I have from a EuroSTAR conference many years ago, where I was at a talk that I didn't think it was really good, but there was one word that they said in that talk that I had with me, and that was something I used a month later and was maybe my biggest change for that year. So you never know where you will learn different stuff. The program is arranged with a lot of different streams, so you can get an overview of what we cover. And as you can see here, the areas are all over the place. And we want that diversity because we believe that new stimulation will take you further. And I won't go through all of these either, but you might notice that there is no agile theme or stream. And the reason for that is that agile is embedded almost everywhere nowadays. Another thing to know about the talks are that most of the talks will be experience reports, because that is what we asked for in the call for submissions. And when someone honestly tells you about their situation and what they did, it is always interesting. And when you do that, you also don't come with the final answers. It's up to the listener to decide what this means to you and to your situation and what you want to do with it. And that goes for the full conference. You will get loads of information, but it is your hard work that is needed to make something good out of it at your company. Conferences are about conferring and networking and having fun too, I hope. And since this webinar is about the program, I won't go into detail about the social parts, but I can promise you already now that I will participate in the running. But I also want to highlight that a big part of the conference is what happens outside the tutorials and the talks, in the discussions you have and the new thoughts that are triggered by testing talk between you and other people that are really into testing and want to share your experiences and questions. And that's where the unexpected stuff happens that you don't really know about. You can know which tutorial to see and which track to see, but you don't know who you will meet, what they will say, and what thoughts that will trigger in you. So all the time of the conference is a social time. And if you're partly introvert like me, you might be scared by that, but everyone there are nice people and they want to talk to other people, so don't be scared. And all the speakers and the committee and even the chairs are also normal people that you just can ask a question and they will answer you. That's a very nice part of a community that it isn't too big, so we have that room. And that's what I had to say today about the conference. And I hope to meet many of you in Hague in November. And I also hope that you have really good questions so I can go a bit deeper about the parts that you really want to know more about. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Rikard. Thank you for that. So just 1 second and we will get to the Q&A in just a moment. You still have time to ask Rikard those questions, so please do so in the question box on the right-hand side of your screen. We have 2 ebooks available now. They came out this morning for download. One is on Appium and the other one is on Links. So the program is out. You can look at that program over on the EuroSTAR site. Please do. We have a really great program this year, so we hope that we will see you in The Hague in November. So Rikard, I just have a couple of questions for you, so I'll just get right into them. So someone asks here, I know that you did explain it, but why the theme Je ne sais pas?
My first task as a program sharer was to select the theme, because I wanted to introduce the theme at last year's conference. So I had to think a lot about this, and one of the things I did was to go through every theme that had been before, like sharing the passion, adding value, reinventing and renovating testing, questioning testing, etc., etc. Really good themes, and I didn't come up with anything like a new word that would fit well with this, and I didn't want to recycle words. For a moment I considered adding value too, but that would be quite boring. So then I started brainstorming more freely, and I don't know where I came up with this je ne sais pas thing. Maybe I was using the opposite method. Like if you can have a theme that doesn't really say anything about the theme, it's I don't know. And then I thought about it, and I felt it was a bit funny that what's the theme? I don't know. Je ne sais pas. To me it's a bit funny, and I came up with it in French, and because it's a very famous French theme, and once I had the idea, I couldn't drop it. I really felt it was nice. It had motivation that I shared with you earlier, like the basis of testing and other things. And it was also totally different from all previous themes. So I felt like this is the theme that someone really will remember. 10 years from now, they can say, well, did you go to the one with the Je ne sais pas theme? At least I think so. And then I felt, well, this is a winner. So and then I need to share it with the conference organizers that they felt it was okay, and they did. So here we are. And if you feel confused by the I don't know theme, that's okay. And I hope it triggers you to go to The Hague and learn more.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a particular track, workshop, or keynote that you are most looking forward to? That's a hard question.
That's a really tough question, because I really I don't want to single out one as better than the other, and by doing that I might even devalue others. But I could say that maybe I can't go to the conference as everyone else did. But, I think that the tutorial I personally would have gone to is the one about the ethical tester.
Yeah, great.
That one I haven't seen before, and so that's the one that I would pick to go there.
Perfect. What exactly makes a good conference committee?
A good conference committee is people that are good to work with, that also have diversity in different aspects. So in my committee, I chose people that I either knew or I knew people who knew them. So I knew that they were good people that are good to work with. And then I wanted to have a geographic diversity. So we didn't have too many from the same part of Europe. And I also wanted a bit of diversity in what kind of testing we do and what kind of work we do. So, for instance, we have Helena, who is in a startup company right now. So she does testing, but also all other things that you do in a startup. And we have Joris does a lot of hands-on testing, which is good. And We have Soltan, who does more programming at the moment, but they're also all nice people that know a lot about testing and also have the ability to have been in the industry for some time, so they can see what's interesting.
Yeah.
So that was my rationale for this.
Okay. What are emerging topics that deserved a place in the program? So what did you see new that you thought must make it into this year's program?
I did not say that we need something on this and then look for it in the abstract. I didn't go in that direction. It was rather, what do people want to talk about? And those will be the best ones, will be those topics that are there. But since we have like 389 submissions, to get this broad diversity, so you have all the topics that you expect, they will be there anyway. But it was not like, let's have as much as possible about that, this or that. We didn't work like that. It was rather like which abstracts are really good, and then we'll see if we have the diversity we need in the program, and we had it. So
okay,
that's the way that worked.
How important is it to showcase new and emerging speakers at the conference?
I think it's important because a new speaker says to everyone who haven't spoken before that you can also do this.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's not like the old club with the same people all over the place all the time. At the same time, we have a lot of speakers who have been at EuroSTAR before, and that's because they know a lot about it and they know how to present a good talk and to talk about it well, so they can get selected. And we also want that experience, so we know that the content will be really good. But so it's important to have a mix, but new ones are also important.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if we have that many that are like the first speaking opportunity ever, and that's also something I recommend, that you do speak at other places before you go to the biggest conference in Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, definitely. Last question, Rikard. What makes a content submission stand out?
It stands out. It has something that grabs your interest, like really, wow, this sounds really interesting, and it could be something you did or something unique in a situation or something that sounds interesting, something that grabs your attention that you want to learn more about. Often I see it that someone has like a really special situation that is tricky, and they did something that's interesting with that.
Yeah,
that's the most common standout. You can also do the opposite method and say how you can make it not stand out, and that would be to be very vague and like, well, we had a project and we want to do some more automation, and then we did it, and I will tell you about the good things and the bad things.
Yeah.
And I didn't say a word about what the actual content was.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be a bit more specific, and you need to have a compelling story, something that's you want to share. And if you really have something to share, I think it will be shown in the abstract.
Exactly.
One tip also for the ones who are planning to submit is to give it to some other tester somewhere to read and ask the question, would you pick this one for a conference?
Yeah.
Because other people also can see, does this have something special in it?
Yeah, good. Yeah, very good. That's great, Rikard. Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it, and we do hope that everyone who's listening will have a look at our program and do see that it's a very unique program, and we would love to see you in The Hague this year. So thank you again, Rikard, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you.